and I have nothing from it other than Tedesco made one amazing pass. I really don't enjoy watching the Sharks. I hope they lose next week. The Broncos 18, the Dragons 48. If you wondered why I was a little bit later at the Great Hodge run, this was part of the reason. I waited until the game was sealed, and the Dragons still managed to score more points after I thought, well, that's it. Gareth Widdop with 1 try assist. Graham started this one. I missed the very start of this game. I assume he went off injured because he didn't come back. Genghis Campbell got in touch though.
Got the full pre-match experience with Watch NRL, and the game certainly matched the hype. Great opening try by young Fafita via Nicarima. I'll say our one. Hat-trick of tries for Tariq Sims, a hat-trick of penalties for Corbyn. James Graham dragged the protesting off-field with a near decapitation, and Widdop masterful until his shoulder fell off. Biggest winner is Sam Burgess' cheekbone if Graham doesn't play next week. Yeah,
and Widdop did his shoulder in, and that's what he's been struggling with the back end of the year. But he made a huge difference when he was on the field, so it's really going to be interesting to see what the Dragons can do next week about that. Okay, that is all the results from around the world of rugby league. Our next job, Dom, is to look forward to next week in the world of rugby league in our predictions.
Very exciting.
Preview and predictions time now in association with Love Rugby League. Head to loverugbyleague.com for the latest news, gossip, opinion pieces, and even more stats on the greatest game. So, Super League, Super 8, Round 5. The game
it's still going on.
Yeah. Pick a game that matters out of these. I think one of them at least does in particular. But it starts on Thursday night, 7:45pm. The Sky game is Castleford versus Huddersfield. I'll let you have first crack at this one.
You can't see past the Castleford win, really?
No, I struggle to see at least 2 scores for me. Cast by at least 2 scores. Any reasons?
Cast are better. There's no as much as it pains me to say, because I can hear Fat Boy Rob's gleaming at the moment. It's
there's a lot of inter-sponsor rivalry going on, isn't there?
They're in form. So Huddersfield, I think Huddersfield had nothing to play for. While they were in that, we can make the top 4, but there's nothing left for that now.
No.
Other than pride, and pride's not enough. Castleford really have something to play for where the points at the end of the day may matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're playing well enough, like you say, to score some points. And I just feel Huddersfield might have a few 75%ers rather than 100%ers this week, just because of how things are going to end now for the season. Cast for me as well. Okay, Friday 7:45pm, first of 3 Friday night games in the Super 8, in the Super League Super 8. St Helens versus Hull FC. I've got to be honest, I can see another big defeat coming for Hull FC.
You can't see past that. I was, based on how far the co-hosts are behind you, I was going to try and do a few where I knew you were going to go and do the opposite.
Yeah.
But this would just be a waste of a vote.
No, I agree, yeah. I've got Saints by at least 4 or 5 scores in this game. I've written 36-10 down here, because I do think Hull showed a little bit of fight last week, and I'm sure they'll carry some of that through. But do you know the stuff we're talking about the stuff that came out from Pearson? One thing I think it will do is give some of the younger players on the fringe who haven't had an opportunity yet, it gives them an impetus, doesn't it, behind their performances, because it says to them, I am under contract, and I have got a place that I can win here at this, the way the other people are being judged. So maybe they'll show some heart that way. Okay, also on Friday night, 7:45pm, Wakefield versus Catalan. This was one of those mental coin flips for me, Dom, and the coin lands in those situations on the home side. It's weighted slightly in that regard, and that's basically the only reason I've got for coming up with the outcome I've got, which is going to be a very narrow Wakefield home win. I think both sides are similar in terms of the way they're performing and that sort of stuff. What I did like from Catalan on Saturday, and I didn't mention it before, is at least they still played with an intensity. It might have not all been directed in the right ways, but they still played with an intensity and a passion and a desire, even though this part of their season is now dead. So that is good to see. I think Wakefield will react to that well. So we'll get, I think, a relatively intense game, hopefully, and it'll be close. 24-22 for Wakefield for me.
I'm saying Catalan. Whilst Catalan have nothing to play for trophy-wise, there is a lot of press on them at the moment with the trophy being shown around. There's a lot of possible newspaper coverage they could get over there, so they'll want to be seen as still in form. So I think that will help them.
Okay. Nice thinking. I thought it was just because you wanted to go different to me. I wanted to try and catch me up. The Sky game, 7:45 kickoff on Friday night, is Wigan versus Warrington. This is two of the top four sides.
Yep.
It could be crucial in terms of who gets home semi-finals and who doesn't. Warrington really needing to win this one they do need to win this one to have any chance of a home semi-final. What do you think will happen?
I picked the opposite of what you were going to pick.
Just be done.
That's basically the only way the co-host is going to... It's a strategic game, is this?
Well, in a way, these teams have been quite close this year.
Yeah.
Warrington won a close one, then Wigan won a blowout, then Warrington won a blowout, then Wigan won a close one. So this is kind of the decider in that epic 5-game series. I've just seen enough at the moment from Wigan's side. Joe Greenwood's missing. That's a bit of a miss because he's linked up so well with George Williams down that golden edge, whereas Willie Isa hasn't shown quite those same capabilities. But we'll see. I think Wigan are showing a little bit of creativity at the moment, and I think our defence is really robust. And I think Warrington probably haven't come up against as robust a defence as what we'll be throwing at them. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So I'm going to go with a Wigan win 16 points to 8. Okay, into the qualifiers, round 5, also on Friday night. For some reason,
that's 4 games starting at the same time on Friday night.
It is indeed, yeah. Against and featuring in those 4 games are the 5 highest supported sides in the sport. And Leeds Rhinos is hosting this final one. It's Leeds versus Salford, so it is former champions versus form qualifiers side. How do you see your Rhinos getting on then?
Well, obviously I'm going to tip Rhinos. If Jackson,
I didn't feel it was obvious, to be honest, after the way you spoke about them earlier.
If to be honest, if Hastings was still in, I may have been tempted to go for Salford, but again, I think without him being there, they might revert back to a little bit of confusion. They've been used to playing with him. They've got their technique now. So I'm going to go with my boys. I think Leeds will win too. I would have gone for Salford if Hastings would have been playing, but Salford have no depth whatsoever from what I've seen this year from them. And what that means to me is Leeds can target them now. They can watch Robert Louis and kind of mark him out the game to an extent. And more importantly, they can use Niall Evalds as a much bigger clue as to where the plays are going to go, which teams haven't been able to do as much with Jackson Hastings in the side. So I think Leeds. I've gone 21-14 because at some point Leeds are going to kick a drop goal. That means something. No, we're not.
Saturday, 3:15 p.m. The Sky game is the spoon, the battle for the qualifiers spoon. Really, Widnes versus Halifax. I'm going home field on this one. I'm going full time and I'm going Super League. So 28 points to 18. I think Widnes will win this one, but I don't think it'll be a pleasant watch.
I don't. It's a Sky game. I'm going to go Fax for 2 reasons. Number 1, to pull the points back for my co-host because I knew you were going to go Widnes. And number 2, I've seen Fax bring some games back, and I think this is one they'll be geeing up for. This is one they'll be going, do you know what, we can actually win this. We can win a Super League side. The fact that it's away on the 4G pitch, I hadn't taken that into account.
Let's not give that pitch generations of quality that it's not got. It's a 3G. Next year's maybe a 4th generation artificial service, but this year's is not.
I hadn't taken that into account, but I'm going Fax, and it's not going to be a good game.
Fair enough. Okay, well, Saturday also gets another Sky game with one of the foreign sides being at home, and 5:30 p.m. kickoff for Toronto versus Toulouse. So cue everyone turning that game on, thinking no one's in the stands. turning it off, and then actually when the stands are full, they've already made their mind up that Toronto make up their attendance figures from thin air.
That's only if you drink enough red wine, though.
Really interesting game, this one.
Yep.
What do you make? What do you think? Who do you think is going to take the win?
I think it's going to be the home side. I think it's going to be closer than you think, because both of these sides are fighting for, a spot for automatic promotion. They're not fighting for the £1 million game. This game means a lot more than most of the Super League games this week.
Yeah, it does. That's what this structure creates. Toronto will win, I think. I think it's going to be one of what we've seen a lot in this qualifiers, isn't it? Is high scoring games from both sides, because the defences aren't quite as up to speed compared to what the interesting attacks that we get to see. Well, I think this will be in that vein.
These two are championship sides, so they used to. Normally, you see that with one Super League side and one championship side, because they're not used to the speed. They're not used to, the proper play.
Yeah,
balls.
I understand what you're saying. I counter that with Toronto, London, but yeah.
You're not a fucking wizard. I counter this. Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what I think it's going to be a high scoring game that Toronto will win. You think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be closer than people think. Toulouse are up for this, and Toulouse are a decent side. It's a shame. It's a shame that they. I would have liked to see the London game, actually. I reckon that would have been a good one to watch. But it costs a lot of money to put that up.
Okay, Saturday 6 p.m. Hull Kingston Rovers versus London.
So not one Sunday game this week?
Not in the Super League, Super 8 or the qualifiers. The Championship Shield and League One dominate the scene there for us, though.
So Hull KR versus London. So Hull KR at home, what are you going for?
I'm going for Hull KR. Almost always I go Super League over Championship.
Yeah.
I think Hull KR have got... What I said about Hull KR at the start of the year is they've got a lot of good players for games against Championship sides, so they'll do alright when they end up in the qualifiers, because they didn't have a lot of good players to play against Super League sides. And that's what they've got, and that's what they are. I've got them winning 32-16.
I had gone KR, but now I'm thinking London have won a few. They're on a roll, but so are KR. I'm going to stick with KR.
Okay.
I can't see London winning it.
Yeah, I think I've said I agree. Right, Championship Shield game of the week, as always in the Championship Shield. It features the Swinton Lions, my favourite Championship Shield side. They're away at Barrow. Barrow are one of the few sides they can still catch if the structure doesn't get changed. They are only 5 points behind with 3 games to play, so 6 points up for grabs. And Barrow have struggled of late, possibly more so than even Swinton have. So I think Swinton have got a chance here. I'm going to tip Swinton to go on the road and win at Barrow. Any of you?
Nope.
Okay. Into League One, the game of the week there is Oldham versus Bradford. These two sides have played out some tasty encounters before, although I think Bradford will win.
Yep. It's the League One promotion battle is because everybody assumed that Bradford would just come up, and it's a bit of a shock that York are doing as well as they were compared to what it was, and it's a great story, but you can sort of see it sort of feels like they're bending the league rules so they could both come up, and that's what it is. It sort of feels like the RFL is worried that Bradford won't make it up. And they need it in the Championship, and that's why they're suddenly saying, two can come up this season. Yeah. That's what it sort of feels like.
Yeah. Well, 2 can go up anyway. It's just now it puts it into a lottery situation, doesn't it? Did you get round to deciding how the Super 8s are going to finish?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I think it's going to go Salford, Leeds, KR, Toronto, Toulouse. Sorry, Toronto, London, Toulouse, Widnes, Fax.
So the Sabres.
Is that what you thought? Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. NRL, it's finals week 2. This time it's definitely loser go home, no second chances. Now, on Friday at 10:40am, and it will be on one of the Sky Action or Arenas, I'm not sure which, Sharks versus Panthers. I'm rooting for the Panthers in this one. I think it'd be funny with the coaching situation, like me and Tim spoke about last week, if they get right the way to the grand final. And also, don't enjoy watching the Sharks.